What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin. My camera isn't really working, so I don't know. Let's see. Maybe, yeah, there we go. It keeps coming in and out, so if it's frozen on anything weird, just, don't mind me. But, looking at the charts here, we've had quite the day today, quite the week already, right? With this day being all the way up to the upside. We had some fake BTC ETF news, right? Apparently somebody lied or like promoted a false story that the ETF was going to get approved, or maybe people just misinterpreted it. But looking at this here, most of this wick was, most of this, what happened in this hour with a lot of volume, that was all wick. So if we look at it on a 15-minute time frame, yeah, the biggest move was to the downside with this volume, at least, right? The biggest volume came in with this big red candle. So some volume sent it up, but more volume sent it down. I do think that we're going to go lower. I'm not worried about this at all. From a kind of like genuine standpoint, I would say you have volume building and higher highs. That kind of doesn't look bad, but you do have a very big wick here, and this could be exactly what we need to kind of send us down on our last bout. People are saying that this happened because of the ETF, the fake ETF news, but maybe it happened because there were so many shorts. People were convinced it was going to go down. We just needed to stop out all those shorts, and now we can go down, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a lot of positions that are underwater right now. People who went long up here, people who went short down here. I'm sure a lot of positions, people are feeling pain both ways. This is how you get pain going both ways, man. You move sideways, and then you make, a big move down, get all the shorts in order. They've been holding their shorts for a while, and then you move up and you just like liquidate all these people. People probably started shorting down here too, thinking that this was going to be a descent. And then you break up, you get a new high going, you have people go long. And then as soon as you do, now everybody's underwater. So, nobody's happy with this right now, probably. If I'm just being blunt, guys, with what I think about the ETF, not that it matters what I know, but, I've been in crypto since 2017. Technically 2015, but I've really been more like proactively involved since 2017. There's been talk about an ETF being promoted or being proposed and being accepted, being approved since I've been in crypto. And it's not a new topic. It's not something that happens once a year. It's like normally a topic throughout the year. There's always a bunch of reasons why it should get approved, but it never happens. So I personally don't think that the ETF is going to be approved until the end of this bull market, if not even maybe even in the bear market itself, like the next bear market, or potentially the end of the next bull market. It could be some time, guys. The next bull market, by the way, would be like 4 years from now, right? It's like 4-year cycles. So I don't think we're anywhere near it. Definitely not by the end of this year in 2023. And I would feel pretty comfortable saying that it's probably not going to happen by the end of 2024 even. 2025, maybe. 2026, maybe. Later than that, probably. But I don't think we're anywhere near getting an ETF pass. And you can give me all your reasons. You can say, but Chris, but C-Zar, what about blah 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 blah, man? That's all I gotta say is blah blah. Like it's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna get denied. The SEC, they did not seek to appeal the grayscale case. Everyone thought they were going to, but they announced, or like it came out, it became public knowledge that they are not going to appeal it. The thing is if they're not appealing it, that doesn't mean they have to approve the ETF. No, they can just find another reason to deny the ETF. And I would bet because they're not appealing it, they probably have their reason for denying the ETF. They already have it figured out. So all this false hope that the ETF is going to get approved, it doesn't make sense to me. But I get it. A lot of people get excited. A lot of people are ready for this thing to go up, even if the ETF got approved. We had a day like this that wasn't a wick, and it was a big green day like this, we probably still would not close this year above like 40K. We probably, like it's probably by the halving, we're still probably going to be below 40K. So like just because good things happen or we start to move up doesn't mean that we're going off to new all-time highs immediately, okay? And just because fake news came out about an ETF and we get a big scam wick like this and then we go down and we hit lower lows doesn't mean that we're going below 20K immediately either. It probably means that we're going to just keep moving sideways. As we do, this point in time in the bull cycle, right before the halving, this like half year before the halving, it's generally not exciting. And if it goes up, it's slowly. It takes months for it to go up, and it doesn't go up a whole lot. By the halving, we are generally like 50% or more at a deficit from our previous high. Our previous high is at 70K. 50% of that would be 35K. So I would assume that we're probably going to be somewhere below 35, 38K, probably below those numbers by the halving, which is in April of next year, which, we're in October now, so that's 6 months away. A little bit less than 6 months away now, like 5.5 months. But overall, guys, I guess, I'm not doing too much TA today. I think that we are going lower. You guys already know where I think we're going if you've been watching the channel. I think that we're going to go somewhere around these weekly high closes, and if not there, somewhere around the monthly high closes here. So between about 23,100 and 24,300. That's my assumption. So we could go lower than that. It is possible we could go lower than that. I'm not one of the people that thinks we're going to go to this low here or even like near that low. I would say at the lowest I would give it. I mean, I suppose it's possible we could go to 20K. I suppose it is. Anything's possible. We could go to like this low zone, sure. But if I had to give it like my lowest, what I would expect, and I don't even expect this, it'd probably be just below 22K. That would be my like lowest expectation. But if we're looking at this with the fibs from low to this high here, 382 is right there at this weekly closing period. 618 is a little bit above this line here. I don't know, man. I don't even know if we actually go down to the 618. That's, yeah, I guess it is possible, but that's, around that 20K area. I really think that this 0.5, 0.328 area would be the zone that we find support in before continuing higher. Because overall, looking at this thing, it's a very strong move, right? Coming off the low here. We've been moving sideways for months now, but this initial move was strong. Having a retracement down to your 382 is a very common thing. It's very common behavior whenever you see price going higher, right? You pull back to your 382 and then you go higher. And I think that throw a lot of people off because we would go just below these lows here, give everybody the reason to think that we go down to these lows, but really we find a bottom somewhere in between. And something else that's common with your 382 retracements is you don't have to bounce right off it. You can actually wick below it and kind of go into this like land in between of the 382 and the 0.5. So I do think we go lower, somewhere between about 23 and 24.3K, somewhere in that range. But we could go lower than that even for sure. I don't think that we're ready to go higher just yet. We have plenty of time before the halving starts. I do expect by the halving we will be above 34K, maybe at least above 32K. But we're really not going to start turning up, you guys, until like the second half of next year. Okay, so we got some time. And in the meantime, if this isn't financial advice, I don't know the future. Nobody knows anything about anything really, right, until it happens. But if I had to give it my best guess from experience, the ETF is not going to get approved this year. It's not going to get approved next year. Big deal. Who cares? We don't need an ETF. It'll be fine. It's going to happen. We're going to get an ETF one way or another, but it's just not going to happen right now. So I'm not opposed to there being an ETF. I'm not one of those guys, but I'm also not one of those guys. It's like, oh, please ETF, give me your ETF. Just give it all to me, please. I want it. No, like we don't need it, guys. We really don't need it. Bitcoin is going to do fine. The financial systems of the world could collapse and Bitcoin would still be standing. So we don't need their ETFs. We really don't. Though I do think it'll be overall bullish in the long term for crypto when that happens. It's just another on-ramp for money, big money to get in. So I definitely see the bullish side to that, but we do not need it to kick off the bull market. And if we do, then it's still going to happen sometime next year, probably after the halving. But I would be surprised. I'd be surprised even with that. So anyways, I think I've said enough. I've gone in circles enough times. I think we're going lower, and then from there we're going to go higher. Probably by the end of the year. I think in December is when we're going to find that low. That's kind of my opinion right now. I think it's funny. Let's see. I wonder. I don't know. Everyone's talking about October being very bullish. I wonder, man. We're up 5% right now. From the top to where we are, we're down. We're actually down more from the top to where we are now than where we opened. We're up like 4.8%. We're like down 5.6% because of today. I wonder, wouldn't it be funny? Everybody was calling for September to be red. Well, it was green. It was actually a neutral green month, which I called for. I even said neutral red month, neutral green month, whatever, but something that was below 10% in price either way, and I said even probably below 5%. But I wonder if this green expected month actually turns out to be a red month. Wouldn't that be funny? Because everybody seemed to know that September was going to be a bloodbath, and it wasn't. Everybody seemed to know that October was going to be just Hail Mary to the skies, and it doesn't seem to be that way. So far, the best pump in this whole month that we've had was on fake news. We got a scam wick, so I'm really curious to see what we do. Again, I do think that we're going to go lower going into the end of this year. Probably sometime in December is when we'll find that low around 23 to 24.3K, somewhere in that range. And then from there, guys, we can talk about going higher in the beginning of next year, but we won't be too much higher, you know, as far as like this overall section of the graph goes. We're probably going to be somewhere like 35 to like 38K. That'd be my assumption by the halving. And then from there, we can talk about going higher. But it's going to be some time. It's going to be some time. This is the boring side of the market cycle, you guys. The last time, just to put in quick reference before I sign off here, May 20th, right here. May 20th was the last Bitcoin halving that we had, right? Look at how boring, just absolutely boring. Other than the COVID crash, which as soon as it sold into, it got bought up as well. Other than that, you were essentially moving slightly down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a row. And then sideways for another like 1, 2, big COVID crash on your third month, and then 4, 5 months here. I mean 6, 7, 8, 9. Like you didn't really take off until like for a while. You just had this big phase of moving sideways essentially. With that crash excluded, you moved sideways for about 16 months. Well, we've been moving sideways, you guys, for about 7 months, right? This started before the halving. The halving was in May of 2020, right here, this candle, right there. Oh, that's not it. And we didn't turn up really until like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months after. That's when we started to turn up. The halving now is going to be in April of 2024. April, right there. And again, 5 months after the halving, we still have 6 months to the halving, and then 5 months after that would be 11. We basically have a year before things really get exciting. So we're in the boring zone. The best thing to do with the boring zone, if you want to trade it, sell the tops, buy the lows. If you want to invest, wait for the drops, buy the dips, stuff like that. You might not buy the absolute low, but you can buy the low on average, right? Even if you bought the lows of this month, you're still not buying at like the high points where the breakout was, so and even if you bought the absolute top, you still were in good shape if you just held. So depending on what you want to do, I think it's buy the dip territory. I do think it's be patient time to be patient, wait for us to get those lower lows than this. But I really think it would be a perfect kind of story for Bitcoin where you get a lower low, and then from there, that's whenever you go up. Like that's where you start to make your higher highs, right after that, right? It's always the pumpiest after the dumpiest, as Ivan on Tech says. I don't think we're going lower than this low. I do think we're going lower than these lows. Somewhere in between sounds about right to me. But that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.